Snow has already started falling in parts of the Eastern Cape. The Provincial Department of Transport is calling for increased vigilance as snowfall may cause the closure of some roads, particularly in the Lootsburg Pass. Let's unpack the story further. We're joined by the Provincial Department of Transport, its spokesperson, Unathi Binqose. Unathi, it's great to talk to you. Thanks for coming on to the program. This warning for severe weather for disruptive snow was issued yesterday, and in the 12 hours since then, what does the province look like?
It is indeed snowing. At the time of coming in that warning, we found it a bit hard to believe, but of course we trusted the South African Weather Services. It was hard to believe in that it's not a usual phenomenon, especially this time of the year. I mean, it's the 5th of November today, and here we are reporting about snowfall. It is affecting the Karoo towns of Cradock, yes, Nuba now, as well as Middelburg and Graaff-Reinet. Those are the towns on the border with the Northern Cape, as well as the eastern parts of the Western Cape. It is affecting some mountain passes, the Lootsburg Pass between Middelburg and Graaff-Reinet, as well as the Wappersberg Pass between Cradock, Nuba rather, and Graaff-Reinet. But at this stage, it hasn't forced any closure, but we have our officers on high alert, keeping a close eye, and I can tell you that there are some heavy-duty vehicles, some trucks that are somewhat trapped on that snow, and we were able to deliver some, some small graders to try and clear off the road, and I did share those visuals with some of the colleagues on the media side. So we are working to ensure that at least the flow of traffic is going as planned.
Yeah, certainly, and there's been a lot of feedback from people in the Eastern Cape, people driving through the area, sharing their videos of heavy snowfall at the start of November, certainly not what we expect for early summer. But are you saying that, especially insofar as the heavy-duty vehicles are concerned, we know that the main highways in the Eastern Cape, as is the case for the rest of the country, there are quite a number of heavy-duty vehicles that pass through that area. Is there a bit of a backlog of those vehicles? Do you see the situation perhaps getting worse throughout the day?
The officers on the ground have started issuing warnings to road users, particularly those who are using trucks, to either delay their travel time or find alternative routes, as we expect, the temperatures to plummet a bit as we are going towards the night time. So we are urging them to rather find alternative routes. Those routes, those who are going towards the Western Cape, will be to use the Garden route, the N2 all the way, and avoid using the one that passes through your Beaufort West. So those are some of the measures that we have in place. And of course, like we said, it's not a phenomenon that we're used to, particularly at this time of the year, but it is adding to already challenging driving conditions in the province, because the parts on the coastal areas have been battered by very heavy and steady rains. As I'm talking to you now, I'm coming to you live from the capital, Bisho, and it is raining heavily here as well, making it difficult for road users under these slippery and wet conditions, with poor visibility in some areas. And of course, we are pleased to announce that in all this, there hasn't been any major crashes that have been reported so far, but we are urging road users, if it's not necessary to be on the road, rather stay at home until it gets better. And of course, there's also a fear of damage to infrastructure when the weather is like this. We're always, on our feet and very, very anxious when we see weather conditions like this, because we are already on the backlog when it comes to issues of road infrastructure, and these heavy rains and floodings are not helping us in any way.
Yeah, certainly. I'm looking at the weather forecast for Bisho, where you are, and the lows are around 7 degrees, highs of just 13 degrees today, and quite a lot of rainfall predicted. I'm glad you talked about the issue of any issues on the road, any accidents. You say none have been reported just yet. I mean, depending on how long this weather lasts for, how much snowfall we'll see in the next couple of days, might there be any intervention from government insofar as trying to keep as many people off the road as possible?
Yes, we are making, and we're grateful for platforms like these. I mean, they get to amplify our voices, and we're able to reach as wide an audience as possible through these platforms that we're affording us. And we're really, really grateful for those because we can be able to warn motorists and advise them on the alternatives. And of course, they can go onto our social media platforms, the Cape Department of Transport Facebook page in particular, it's been very, very helpful in terms of giving them advice on what best to do. But at this stage, it has certainly not reached a crisis point, and we're hoping that it won't get any worse than it already is now. However, we're mindful of the fact that the moment the sun goes down and the temperatures plummet, we may see a bit more snow. And the least you can do for now will be to close off those roads that will deem necessary to do so, and will urge road users to please understand, because it will be done in the interest of their safety. We've seen what has happened between Gauteng and KZN not so long ago, and unfortunately there was a life that was lost there, and we wouldn't want to see anything remotely close to that happening in our province here. So that is why we'll take the proactive steps of closing the roads the moment we deem it necessary to do so.
Yeah, and if you are working and living in the area, you can go onto the Transport Department's social media pages and get the latest updates on those road closures. And then, of course, Unathi, it does look like, again, I'm on the weather app here, it looks like the weather is expected to last at least until Friday, when things will start clearing up.
That's the sad part. And for a rural province like ours, a rural province that has 90% of its roads being dirt roads, not surface roads, which are prone, to being washed off by floods. This is not spelling good news for us at all. You add to that the dimension of learners that are sitting for their final exams and getting access to such things as schools. It is not good at all. And we're hoping that as bad as it is now, we'll be crossing our fingers that it doesn't get any worse. But because at this stage, at least we are still able to manage under the circumstances. But if it persists beyond the predicted day of Friday, it may spell a bit of a problem for us as the province.
This might be the purview of the Basic Education Department, Unathi, but for those students who are sitting for their final exams, particularly the matric students, is there any kind of help getting to and from school safely?
Well, the majority of them, which has been a culture here in this Cape for a while now, I don't know if it has to do with the infrastructure, but we're seeing a lot of learners who are doing matric in particular, spending a lot of time in the schools in which they are studying, and they have turned some classrooms into boarding facilities. So that has helped a lot in terms of ensuring that they do not encounter many problems in terms of traveling, especially under these weather conditions. So they're able to write, they stay where they are also writing. So that has assisted a lot. But so in as far as I know, we are not aware of any learners that have been, left out from writing due to the weather conditions.
Unathi Binqose is the Eastern Cape Department of Transport's spokesperson. Thanks very much indeed for giving us that update. And if you do live and work in the area, you can follow the Transport Department's social media pages, get you the latest information there on road closures.